The Portland Trailblazers, a team with a rich basketball history. Kinda? I mean, they've had all-star caliber talent in the past, like LaMarcus Aldridge and CJ McCollum, and they've had bona fide superstars like Damian Lillard most recently, Clyde Drexler in the 90s, and the late great Bill Walton in the 70s, who brought this team its only championship in 1977. So no championship in almost 50 years? I'm here to change that for Portland, but I know it won't be easy. Portland is in the middle of a rebuild. This has pretty much been the case since 2021 and has been official ever since the Dame trade in 2023. But throughout the course of the rebuild, Portland has been a bottom dweller in the Western Conference. This team has an interesting mix of talent. Anthony Simons is this team's best player. He spent his first years in the league under the tutelage of Dame and really came into his own as an offensive dynamo after his departure. He is in his mid-20s, and while he isn't old, I wouldn't say he's on the timeline of a rebuild. DeAndre Ayton has spent a season here after coming over from Phoenix. He never reached the ceiling that many thought he possessed as a number one pick, but he still is a good starting center. Also, a player who isn't old, but one who's not on the timeline of a rebuild. Looking at the core prospects of this team, we'll start with Donovan Clingan, the team's most recent first-round pick. A big who has a lot of defensive capabilities and upside, but who is very raw offensively. Next we have Deni Avdija, a very skilled 6'9" wing who can do a little bit of everything, but excels on the defensive end. His ceiling hinges on his consistency as a catch and shooter from 3. Shaedon Sharpe is already entering year 3 of his career, which is hard to believe because of all the time he's missed in his young career due to injury. But when he's been on the court, he's displayed upside as an aggressive scorer and has showcased his elite athleticism. Lastly, we have to speak on Scoot Henderson, an athletic point guard who was drafted 3rd overall a year ago. He's had a shaky start to his career with ups and downs, but I'm not giving up on him. I'm committing to him as our starting point guard for the future. Moreover, I'm committing to a backcourt of the future consisting of him and Shaedon. This rebuild will not be easy, I'm sure of it, but with patience, attention to detail, savvy transactions, and an unwavering confidence in this team, I have no doubt that as general manager, I will not only put Trailblazer basketball back on the map, but will also, in the foreseeable future, bring Portland its first NBA title since 1977. It's great to be back. My 3rd time around doing MyGm on 2K. This time we're rocking with the Portland Trailblazers. Starting with the players I have on the trading block, I got Ayton, Grant, Simons, and Thibault there. They're the veterans on this team that I can get the most value for in return for a trade, hypothetically. And, we're committing to a rebuild, so I kind of want to free up the perimeter for Shaedon, Avdija, and Scoot because I'm committing to a backcourt of Shaedon and Scoot, and I really want to put the ball in the hands of Avdija more. For right now, the starting lineup will be Scoot, Simons, Avdija, Grant, and DeAndre Ayton until trades are being made. I did want to simulate a little bit into the future. I wanted to get past a couple of play-in tournament games, and I did want to get to a home game. So we're going to simulate to the Kings Blazers play-in game, and we're just picking up some quality wins here. We had a quality win against OKC, followed up with a loss against Houston. It was a close game here. Anthony put up 35, improving that trade value, you know what I'm saying. Scoot Henderson 5 assists as not the main ball handler. We played against Houston again and we picked up another L, so Cooper Flag sweepstakes, we're improving our odds for those. And honestly, I would love to get Cooper Flag because that would make this rebuild a lot easier. We don't have like that bona fide budding superstar player. We really got to develop our talent and see who that guy can be, if he even is on our roster currently. We picked up another L against Memphis. Keep in mind, Memphis will be featured later in this episode. And then we picked up another L against Indiana. Finally, made it to the game against Sacramento. They're actually really good in the sim right now. I think they're 3rd in the Western Conference, and they're a very talented offensive team. Got the big 3 of De'Aaron, DeMar, and Sabonis, it's going to be a big challenge defensively for Scoot, Avdia, and Ayton. They're the guys that are matched up against the big three. We see they're 13-6. I think this is the third play-in tournament game, and we're 0-2. So yeah, kind of just, playing for fun at this point. I wanted to hop in and see what this team was made of, see what I could do with this team. I also wanted to test the sliders and see if they were realistic. I picked some realistic sliders to play on because this is a realistic simulation rebuild, or I'm hoping for it to be. I'm not going to be doing any fantasy trades that don't make sense. I'm going to try to make it as realistic as possible. But I did really just want to test the sliders, get a familiarity with this team, and get a familiarity with the players I really want to commit this rebuild to. So, starting out the game, our first points are going to be from Anthony Simons. They helped on to Ayton. It's going to be a common theme. Whenever I got a mismatch with Ayton in the post, they helped immediately. Sometimes it was a catch and shoot three from somebody, but this time Anthony caught it and cut. He got the first bucket, or first points of the rebuild rather. Here we have DeMar DeRozan taking advantage of positioning inside. Anthony Simons on a pick and roll, gets open on the baseline. Nice pull up there. Don't get used to Anthony Simons hitting outside shots because he would struggle from outside today. Here we have Ayton in another post up, helped off of Avdia, and he missed this three at the top of the arc. I said in the intro, we're really going to need Avdia to be that knockdown, consistent three-point shooter like he was in Washington last year. I know in real life he struggled with his outside shot, and it's been kind of hit or miss literally, but we're really going to have to focus on him being a consistent three-point shooter. Nice little pick and roll play from Scoot to Ayton, getting Ayton on the board. Ayton's play this game really made me change my mind about him. I saw how useful he could be with us, especially with Scoot running the pick and roll. I just kind of want to have like a security blanket at the 5, with us having a lot of younger point guards, shooting guards, perimeter players that might not be the most consistent buckets. Having somebody that we can throw the ball to down low and go to work, or just hit in the pick and roll, makes a lot of sense. So I kind of changed my mind on Ayton. Here we have an and one for Jeremy Grant, and early on we're giving it to Sacramento, getting to the paint at will, and they had to call a timeout. We're also clamping them up, so shout out to our guys for putting the clamps on. Here we have Avdia playing a little bully ball, still getting to the rack. Or I don't think we've hit an outside three yet, or we haven't hit a three yet, but we had that Anthony Simons pull up. Here we have some nice defense from Thibault off the bench, knocking the ball loose, the disruptor that he is. But here we have DeMar DeRozan getting all the way to the rack. That's still great defense. It's just better offense. That's all you can really ask for. Here we have a nice set drawn up for Anthony Simons. Gets open on the left wing, and he hit that three. I'm telling you, later in the second half, it's going to get diabolical. Here we have DeMar DeRozan getting to the paint himself. Another and one. Them hitting tough shots. Their big three hitting tough shots was really what kept them in it. Here we have a nice drive from Avdia. Like I said, I want to get the ball in Avdia's hands a lot more, especially with me freeing up some space on the perimeter for him later this episode, because he can handle the ball, he can play make a little bit, he can get to the rack, and he's a good finisher. Jeremy Grant getting to the paint there. Got 22 points with 2 minutes left. Here we have Scoot. Nice pick and roll action for Robert Williams, who comes in off the bench. Another pick and roll finisher. Uber athletic, but he doesn't get back in transition, and Sabonis takes advantage. And here we have Sabonis in the post, going to work. He misses the shot, but gets his own rebound, puts it back in. Still got a 4-point lead at the end of the first quarter, and we have more great defense player from Matisse Thybulle. 24-20 in the first. We were clamping shit up. Here we have Scoot getting all the way to the rack, draws the foul on Sabonis. I took advantage of Sabonis as the primary help defender this game, especially with our athletes and Scoot and Shaden and Simons. Here we have Scoot getting around 3 players in transition to get all the way to the bucket. 28-20 with 11 minutes left. Here we have Jeremy Grant taking advantage of a mismatch to Monty Kumara, top of the arc. Bang! He was my best shooter this game. He's going to have another 3, I think, soon. Oh, yeah, Scoot draws the help here. Kicks it to Kumara in the corner. Bang! Another 3 back to back. 34-22 in the second, 8 minutes left. Here we have Shaedon Sharpe in an ISO situation. Couldn't get much offensively elsewhere, but he had a really nice take against Keon Ellis, who's a really good defender. So I really want Sharpe to come into his own as that bucket. Here we have him in another ISO situation, getting baseline and Kevin Huerter. So yeah, I think I'm looking for him to turn into our go-to scorer offensively in like the half-court setting when we don't have a set drawn up and we need somebody to just get a bucket. Nice pump fake from Avdia, getting DeMar DeRozan up in the air. Double-digit lead almost halfway through the second, so we're firing on all cylinders at this point. More help defense on Ayton. Kick it to Murray, to Avdia in the corner, and cannot hit that. Oh man. It's going to frustrate me if he can't be a consistent three-point shooter. They're helping off Avdia again, and I got to make the defense pay at some point. We can't just let him off the hook. Avdia's got to be able to knock these shots down. They keep mismatching Ayton, and they're helping. This time it's Shaedon Sharpe on the right wing, and we know he's going to knock that down, keeping our double-digit lead with 5 minutes left in the second. Here we have DeMar in the post against Avdia. Great defense from Avdia there. Simons gets open at the right wing. Brick show is starting. Ayton's on the glass though. 45-31 in the waning minutes of the second. Actually, no, that's 4 minutes left. Here's a great defensive possession from Scoot on De'Aaron. I really wanted to showcase the defensive highlights from Scoot and Avdia because they really showed up on De'Aaron and DeMar. I think they ended up both scoring like 20 plus points, but I don't think it was hella efficient at all. Here we have Scoot getting all the way to the rack. He's got to convert that. He got really good positioning. I don't know how he missed. But another three from Kevin Huerter here. Back-to-back threes. Cuts the deficit to single digits. Here we have Sabonis just eating in the posts. And just like that, the lead is only 5. Got a double screen for Anthony Simons here. Wide open left elbow pull-up. I don't know how he missed that. Don't know how. De'Aaron Fox pull up, no good. Sabonis is on the glass though, kicks it to Keegan Murray, and they hit the three. And just like that, our lead is gone. We were up double digits for the majority of the second quarter, but that run at the end of the second has us only up 2. I mean, in general, played a really good game. Defense was there. We were hitting shots, or we were getting to the paint. I think if we hit more shots that were wide open, we'd still have a double-digit lead. Jeremy Grant was our leading scorer, followed by Ayton, already had 10 boards. Tamani Kamara had 2 threes. Anthony Simons had a shaky second quarter, really dropped his efficiency. Matisse Thybulle came in and was a defensive menace. Here we have Scoot off 2 screens. Anthony Simons left wing, can't hit it. Another missed wide open 3. Denny and 1 in the pick and roll action. He's a great finisher, man. He's got good size, good touch around the rim, pause, and we were driving hard because Sabonis is not the most impactful help defender. We all know this. But here we have Sabonis in the post against Ayton. He's able to get a bucket there. 51-48. 2 minutes into the third. Scoot getting all the way, pick and roll action. 6 and 4 for Scoot. A very solid start for Scoot. Not really asking him to do too much offensively, really just managing the game, drawing help defense, get another players open. Here we have Avdia with a mismatch in the post. 11 and 5 for Avdia. He's getting to the rack at will. Here you have Simons with the drive. Ayton flares out at the end of the shot clock. This was found money. I did not expect Ayton to pop, nor did I expect him to hit that 3. Back to a 10-point deficit. Ayton drawing more help defense. Tamani Kamara, top of the arc, bang! Another 3 from Tamani Kamara. He was the team's best 3-point shooter today, by far. Scoot off double screens. I really could have taken it to the rack, but I just wanted to test his mid-range pull-up because we're going to need him to hit those. Teams are going to go under. Nice defense from Ayton, but teams are going to go under screens a lot against Scoot, and he's got to be able to be a consistent knockdown mid-range scorer. We reward Ayton for his defense and for running the floor as he has takeover, double-double, 2.5 quarters in for DeAndre Ayton, and the Kings need another timeout. Like I said, Ayton showing this game really made me change my mind on him. Here we have Avdia, top of the arc again, wide open, missed. I don't think he's hit a 3 at this point at all. Nice move from De'Aaron Fox, draws the foul on Avdia and gets an and 1 there. Here we have Simons, top of the arc, off of a screen, and Klingen's into the game. Nice pass out of a shot from Anthony Simons, and we get Klingen his first points of the series. We're not going to ask too much of Clean. You know, he's just got to be a catch and finisher. Nice back door. I thought this was really good help from Clean, but they called a foul. I'm pretty sure that was all ball. I really wanted to challenge it, but nice defensive instincts from Clean there, in my opinion. Here we have Anthony getting wide open. He broke De'Aaron, and I couldn't believe he missed the three. He sold the clip. Broke De'Aaron, missed the wide open wing three. I'm shooting with no timing, just for like realism, because hypothetically, if I like mastered everybody's release, I could just green every shot, even with it being on realistic challenging sliders. Like if I mastered everybody's release, I could green every single 3-point shot. So that wouldn't be realistic. But the Kings are cutting their way into the deficit here. I had to call a timeout. They were on a nice run, only up by 5, waning minutes of the third. Nice move from Simons. I wasn't making anything from outside with Simon, so I had to get to the rack. He's got 9 and 3. Here we have Kumara. I gave too much space to Fox there, and he's a very improved 3-point shooter from when he started his time in the NBA. Nice pull up from Jeremy Grant, topped the key, 69-65 going into the fourth. It's a very low scoring game. A little bit of stat padding from me with Simons there, but it's a very low scoring game. We had really good defense this game, and we just missed a lot of 3-point shots, honestly. Here we have Simons drawing help defense. Shaedon Sharpe on the left wing. He's been knocked down from outside. DeMar DeRozan misses against Sharpe. That was some good defense from Sharpe. He's not known for his he's not known for his defense. He's known for his offense. There, he got him up in the air, kicked out to Simons, and he finally hit a catch and shoot 3. We have Sharpe in an ISO working on Trey Lyles, draws the foul on him, and I think he's going to miss the first and make the second here. Regardless, though, we've gotten a lot of good looks out of Shaedon Sharpe ISOs, so I'm thinking I'm going to make him the focal point of our half-court offense. Here, I didn't know what happened. I was so confused. I thought the play was dead. I thought there was a whistle, but Kevin Huerter just got injured. He just got injured, and the play went on, and I still missed the wide-open 3 with Matisse Thybulle. They had to call a timeout. Look at Huerter. He's feeling it, man. We're only up 5 here. Avdia's got a mismatch, drawing the help defense. Thybulle top of the arc, knocked down, made up for that missed wide-open 3 on the right wing. We're up 8 here. Following up that 3, he's going to play lockdown defense on DeMar DeRozan, making him work. We're up 8 here. Another possession with DeMar DeRozan ISO. Instead of Thybulle on him, it's Robert Williams, and that's why we got to keep Matisse Thybulle on him there. We have a corner pick and roll for Scoot. They go under the screen. I don't know how that pass got through, but we're going to let it rock. That's an assist for Scoot and a bucket for Robert Williams. Sabonis got the offensive rebound, kicked it out to Huerter. Huerter was hitting some timely 3s, man, to keep him in this game. And that was an example of when we're now in the final 5 minutes of the fourth, and I'm starting to go to my closing lineup. This isn't it exactly. I still have, I think, Thybulle in the game for defense on DeRozan. I don't know how I missed that layup. Bro, that was an elementary layup there. And on the other end, they convert. We kind of compounded mistakes there by giving them an and one, and they're going to cut the deficit to 4, I think, with a made free throw from Sabonis here. Under 5 minutes in the fourth, so I'm getting a little scared. Get a baseline drive from Scoot, kick it to Thybulle in the corner, missed. Ayton's a horse on the glass, though, gives us another opportunity. Couldn't really get anything with Scoot and ISO, and Ayton gets another board. So at this point, I'm like, hey, Ayton's working. Let's try to get him open. Go to the pick and roll action. Scoot gets downhill. Sabonis is out of position. Lob city to Ayton. Ayton's got, I think, 15 and 15 at this point. He's hooping. Really displaying that value. Here we have good defense on De'Aaron from Scoot, but he gets his own rebound. Timely buckets from their big 3 and Huerter, keeping them in this game. We're only up 4. We have some off-ball screens set for Jeremy Grant. Here we get downhill. They help off of Matisse Thybulle, top of the arc. Bang! Toumani Camara and Matisse Thybulle have been key knockdown shooters off the bench. Scoot's going crazy with the handle. Going crazy. Acrobatic lay. Woo, that was a good take. 90-81. Under 3 minutes in the fourth. I think at this point I foul so I can get Anthony Simons out of the game because he just was not. He was not a net positive for me. So I just brought in Scoot, or no, I think Shaedon. Yeah, I brought in Shaedon here. Good defense from Scoot on De'Aaron Fox. Makes that bucket tough for him. Here we have Fox going at Sharp, this time in the post. Sharp holds his own. Good defense back to back from my young guards. Scoot is really taking over in this fourth quarter, getting all the way to the rack. Goes 1 of 1, then 2 of 2. He's got 10 and 7, and I'm getting achievements for free throws, I think. Or no, I think everybody scored. Yeah, all 5 starters scored more than 10. Here we have some really good defense from Scoot. He's making him work 94 feet. Contested step back midi. I'm telling you, De'Aaron Fox probably had 20, but it was on horrible shooting. Backdoor cut from Avdia. Good pass from Henderson. That was a great play, and we're firing on all cylinders in the fourth. I think we only scored 65 points in the fourth, and we're up to 94, so we might have had a 30-point fourth quarter. Shaedon Sharp, butter from 3. He definitely shot above 50% from 3 this game, 97 to 83, and at this point is done and dusted. More defensive prowess from Scoot on De'Aaron, and he's got 10 and 9, and he's got his takeover, so you know what that means. I gotta dance. Snatch back, cross, all the way, lay. 12 and 9 for Scoot, 99 to 83. At this one, I think I just want to get 100 points in the game. So we got Scoot dancing on, I think that's Keegan Murray. I'm standing very far away, or sitting very far away from my laptop right now, but he's dancing. He's putting them in every animation possible. Oh my god. Forced dunk, 101 to 85 will be the final score. Scoot's final tally will be 14 and 9. And we got a win in the play-in tournament against a very good Western Conference team in Sacramento. I think they were 3rd in the West, and I'm racking up achievement after achievement after achievement. It was a really good game. Like I said, I kind of changed my mind about DeAndre Ayton. I really saw what type of value he could have for this team and how he could help just make life easier for Scoot Henderson, giving him a really good security blanket and low post-ups and pick and roll action. He had 15 and 17, a steal and a block on 7 and 9 shooting. Scoot Henderson 14 and 9, 5 of 12. You just really got to be more consistent from outside with him. Shaedon rather, 14 points on 5 of 11, 3 of 5 from 3. Avdia was getting to the rack, 13 and 7. He also has to be more of a knockdown shooter from outside. Anthony really struggled. Jeremy Grant wasn't really a focal point in the second half. We really just focused on our young guys. Sumani Kamara was a knockdown 3-point shooter for us as well. And at this point, I think I really just wanted to simulate to December 15th because I made the decision that I was trading a couple of players. We will see the closer we get to that date, and we're there now. So first and foremost, we had to trade Anthony because I wanted to free up some opportunities for my perimeter trio of Scoot, Shaedon, and Denny. Anthony was having a solid year, 19 on efficient shooting, and Scoot, as I gave him more minutes, made him more of a focal point of the offense. He was getting his numbers up. I really want to get his assists per game up. Honestly, 3 is kind of lackluster for my starting point guard. But yeah, first and foremost, I wanted to trade Anthony. I thought of 2 teams, either Minnesota or Orlando. Both are teams that are really solid defensively, but could use an offensive popping, point guard. Couldn't really draw anything up for Minnesota, but I could draw up a framework to send Anthony to Orlando, and it revolved around bringing in Jonathan Isaac to match the money, and Orlando would send out a couple of picks, not a couple our way, but a couple 2 different ways, because losing Jonathan Isaac would mean that they would sacrifice some forward depth. I couldn't really send them a forward in return, so I thought of a team that would be rebuilding as well, that also has a forward that's on a minimum contract that would be valuable for a win now team. And I landed on Chicago with Torrey Craig. He's on a minimum contract, so it's easy to trade, and it will be easy to get him over to Orlando so they can cash out and get 2 players to help them contend now, especially with Paolo Banchero coming back from injury. So Anthony and Torrey Craig are going to go to Orlando. Orlando's going to send Isaac our way to match the money, and they're going to send Corey Joseph to Chicago to match their money and do a player-for-player swap. We're going to get a first-round pick out of it, and we're also going to send 2 seconds Orlando's way, or no, 2 seconds Chicago's way, just for helping participate in this trade to make it a reality for us. So I think all 3 teams walk out of this a winner. 3-team trades, the CPU never accepts them. It's just a bug, so I had to override that. But I think that's a realistic trade that makes sense for all three parties involved. And I also moved Anthony Simons to the 2 guard, where his overall goes up, and now instead of him coming off the bench, because 2K would have done that automatically, he can start in the starting lineup with Jalen Suggs in the backcourt. And I think it's a good trade as well, because KCP's kind of been struggling from 3. Next, I wanted to trade Jeremy Grant. I went to Trade Finder for inspiration for this one, and this trade caught my eye, sending him to Memphis for Marcus Smart, pretty much, who's been struggling in his time in Memphis, especially this year, and especially with Scottie Pippen really coming into his own as that point guard off the bench and starting in some time without Ja. This kind of makes Marcus Smart expendable, especially with him having a contract of this size to match up with somebody like Jeremy Grant. Sending Jeremy to Portland allows Portland to move Bane to the 2 guard, and they can be a bigger team. They need like a 6'7", 6'8" type of wing to play that 3 position, and Jeremy Grant can be that for them. And they were just being stupid in these counter offers and whatnot. So we had that trade done. I think it's a trade that makes sense for both teams. We get some draft capital. Memphis gets more size on the wing and a really good starting small forward. And lastly, I was contemplating trading away Ayton to cash in on his value, but again, I decided to keep Ayton and trade away Robert Williams, who was not really happy with not starting. We saw that in his morale and his overall drop. I was thinking of a team that needed a backup center, and lo and behold, the Sacramento Kings, the team we just played, they could use a backup center. They originally wanted to give away Trey Lyles in the trade finder, but that would sacrifice too much of their forward depth. So instead, we're going to swap Delano Banton and Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter's kind of fallen out of favor in Sacramento, and Delano Banton is a good wing player, but he just was festering in Portland because he wasn't getting minutes, and I moved him to a small forward because they needed a backup small forward after losing Kevin Huerter, and he's going to be a 77 overall once he starts getting minutes again. So that's a good trade for Sacramento. We get some draft capital out of it, and they get 2 quality role players to help their depth. We lost the point guard, so I had to get one in free agency to get a 3rd string, and we brought in Devontae Graham. And this was the new lineup after a lot of contemplation and a lot of tweaking. We settled on a lineup of Scoot, Shaden. Who did I bring in at the small forward to start? Did I bring in? I brought in Toumani Camara because he also really impressed me in the minutes he played. I brought in Toumani Camara to start at the 3, and I brought in Denny Avdia to start at the 4, and DeAndre Ayton, of course, is going to still be my starting 5. And then off the bench, Kevin Huerter and Marcus Smart are my top guys off the bench, 2 vets there. I did up Denny Avdia's intangibles to get him back to an 80 overall, because when I moved him to a power forward, it dropped his overall, and I think Denny Avdia should be the 2nd highest overall on this team. We had some mentorship done with the new vets coming in, and I just wanted to showcase the standings. In the West first, you got Minnesota, Golden State, Dallas, Denver, Sac, Phoenix, OKC. OKC is reeling from that Chet injury. Currently, LA, the Lakers are outside the play-in tournament, or outside the playoffs, and Utah's absolutely abysmal, 3-22. Look at that point differential, goodness. Out east, we have Cleveland, Orlando, Boston. Chicago is the surprise of the East. They're on a 6-game win streak, 15-12. But this might be pretty fugazi. It's kind of like how Utah was surprising everybody, I think, 2 years ago, and then they ended up being a non-playing team. Brooklyn's in the playoff picture. Detroit's in the playoff picture. Toronto's impressing in the simulation while they're shitty in real life. And yeah, that's pretty much the episode. I guess I'll close this out by saying what I expect from everybody. I'm putting the ball in the hands of Scoot Henderson more. I'm investing in him as our starting point guard. I want him to rack up some more assists, just be more of a focal point. I want to focus on his development. Shaden Sharp, I want him to be that ISO scorer for us, especially in the half court. I think I want to get his PPG average to 20 per game, and I think it's possible with him getting more touches, especially in the half court. I'll draw some off-ball sets for him, get some more P&R and some more ISOs as well. DeAndre Ayton's going to be that security blanket for us in the low post and be that reliable catch and finisher out of pick and roll action, especially off of Scoot Henderson. I think he'll rack up a lot of assists that way. And then also I want to talk about Deni Avdia. I'm going to put the ball in his hands a lot more. He's going to be like that tertiary playmaker, or actually the secondary playmaker for us now that Anthony Simons is no longer here. He has a lot of playmaking upside, especially from that 6'8" frame, being able to see over the defense and get to the rack and draw a lot of help defense. And then Clingan is now going to be the backup center. He's going to get probably like 16 minutes a game with Robert Williams gone. In summary, we're committing to our young guys at every position. We're committing to the future. We're committing to this rebuild. And the only way for these guys to develop is to get them reps. You know, I know there's going to be a lot of growing pains, but got to have patience.